Hey guys, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Andre Randolph. I'm a former church plant resident of Ambassador Church, who's now starting a brand new church in Memphis, Tennessee. I miss you guys dearly. So when Pastor Ray asked me to do a video leading you guys in a devotional, I jumped at the opportunity. The topic for this devotional is a biblical perspective of racial justice and our response as believers. If you guys are like me, recent events have you experiencing a sea of emotions. You're trying to process everything you're seeing as an American citizen made in the image of God. And most importantly, you're trying to process everything you're seeing as a Bible-believing follower of Jesus Christ. So my goal with this devotional is to help you with that. I want to quickly give you 3 mindsets to avoid and 2 heart attitudes to adopt. The first mindset to avoid is engaging in behavior modification. Right now, as you think through all the realities of what's going on, you have 2 choices. You could either go with the crowd. I think we call that groupthink. You can kind of see what the prevailing thought is and then kind of roll toward that direction. Or you can be honest. You can tell people how you really feel. Those who would provide a safe space for you to convey your true thoughts. James 3 verse 13 says, who is wise and has understanding among you? He should show his works by good, which is honest, conduct with wisdom's gentleness. The reality is that there is something attractive and even appealing about honesty during a time of social unrest. So I'm asking you to avoid hypocrisy. I'm asking you to make sure that your actions match how you really feel. The second mindset to avoid is assuming a false responsibility. When I think about this, I think about terms that have been bred out of sociology, white privilege, white legacy, terms like this, which I actually affirm, at least historically, the realities of those two, where via the transatlantic slave trade, African slaves and descendants of African slaves have essentially been dug in a hole that they're still trying to dig their way out of to this day. And so those terms are helpful terms to describe the realities of essentially 400 years of a hole being dug. But what I don't affirm is what is also known as white guilt. I don't affirm this idea of making descendants of white Europeans feel guilty for what they have today, and even make them feel like they are responsible for the transatlantic slave trade, or that they should sell everything they own to accommodate the gap between the have and the have-nots. In Exodus 20, verses 5 and 6, Yahweh introduces a concept to Israel, which essentially says, if you do the sin that your fathers did, I, Yahweh, will punish you. But if you obey me, Yahweh, unlike your fathers, I will show you faithful love. So what I'm asking you with this second mindset to avoid is to avoid misplaced guilt. It hurts you, and frankly, misplaced guilt does nothing for those who are truly hurting. And the third mindset to avoid as you process everything you're seeing here, my suggestion, the third mindset to avoid is contracting what I call the Superman syndrome. Contracting the Superman syndrome. Don't think that it's your job to fix everything. And the news flash is that everything is unfixable naturally. There is no, natural solution to the racial and cultural tension that you see, especially in our country. In Genesis 11, verse 6, we find out that at one time, all of mankind was unified. And what did man do with that unity? This all-elusive unity, this world peace. Man tried to make a tower to reach the top of heaven, showing man's total depravity and misuse of this so-called natural unity. So God invents geography and language right there on the spot. He scatters them and he confuses their languages, and geography and language classes are born. So what does this mean? This means that today's racial tension and cultural tensions can be traced all the way back to the judgment of God at the Tower of Babel. God made it harder for us to be united naturally as punishment for what happened that day. So don't marvel at racial tension and cultural tension. And don't think that somehow you can be Superman and solve everything. Don't think that America is going to somehow be the country or the nation that solves this issue that reigns in every country. Every country has to deal with racial and cultural tension. Nations will never experience this peace. Unity and peace are virtues of the church through the gospel of Jesus Christ. And our unity amid our diversity is what is supposed to make us a light to the world. The world is supposed to be looking at us, the church, and saying, are y'all aliens? How are y'all so unified amid your diversity? That's the goal of the church. But that can't be found in the world. Now, let me leave you with 2 hard attitudes to adopt. Those are 3 mindsets to avoid. 2 hard attitudes to adopt. The first hard attitude to adopt is compassion. Mark 3, verse 5. Jesus tells a man with a withered hand to step forward. And then he faces the Pharisees, these religious Jews, and he asks them, is it lawful for him to heal on the Sabbath? And he looks around and he gets total silence. And he immediately responds to their silence with grief and anger. And thus, his compassion moves him to heal the man with a withered hand. And so you see in that piece that the compassion of Jesus. And this is what we need. If silence made Jesus angry and grievous, then we shouldn't be silent in the face of those who are truly hurting. We should have compassion, and we should show that compassion. The second heart attitude to adopt is empathy. Hebrews 4:15, we have a great high priest that can sympathize with our weaknesses. He entered into our struggle. And that's what empathy is. It's picking yourself up and actually putting yourself into the struggle of another. This is the kind of attitude that is most critical in these times we're living in right now. Have compassion and empathy for all those affected by the tragedy of George Floyd's murder, have compassion and empathy for all those affected by the mayhem of rioting and looting. Compassion and empathy are transcendent heart attitudes that, no doubt, regardless of what side of the debate you're on, it transcends it. I can be compassionate and show empathy to both sides, and so I'll leave you with that. I went 30 seconds over, but thank you guys for allowing me to just share a few of my thoughts, and hopefully we can discuss this further. Lord bless you guys and keep you.